lane of traffic. Through the median. We're at 70. 50 miles an hour. Heading toward Marion County and flipping me off. Okay, nothing about Marion. 1031, let's take a little bit. Yep. We're at 30, I'm pitting.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? How you feeling?
The pursuit took him down the highway, through a residential area, and onto a construction zone, where his luck finally ran out. Officers pounced before he could run or flip them off again. He was arrested and charged with fleeing aggravated assault and reckless driving, major probation violations. His bond, $245,000. But someone paid it, because by November, he was on the run again. By March 2024, Matthew racked up yet another high-speed chase, his fourth felony since 2018.
Why is everyone using ninja transfers?
Ninja transfers is definitely killing them.
Get on the ground! Stop the car! Stop the car! Do it for the fucking car! Hands up! Shut the vehicle off! Do it now!
June 20th, 2024, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A string of armed cars had police on high alert when they spotted a white Chevy SUV with no plates. If these suspects were trying to stay low-key, they were doing a terrible job.
District 1. Alright, continuing northbound, 43 north, passing Keith.
Officers pulled the SUV over, knowing they were dealing with armed and dangerous criminals. The suspects, however, had other plans. With construction ahead, they made a risky move, pulling into a closed lane.
Stop the vehicle! Stop the vehicle! Stay on the ground! Get on the ground! Stop the car! Stop the car! Do it for the fucking car! Hands up! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Keep coming! Stop right there! Hold on! One in custody right now. Alright, stay right here. Sit down! Sit down! Come on, let's go! Come on, hurry up! Hurry up! Stay with him. I haven't searched him yet. All right, come to me. Come to me. Come to me. Do you have any weapons on you? No.
They thought they were in the clear until a cement truck brought their escape to a grinding halt. Inside the SUV were 4 suspects, aged 15 to 18. The ringleader, 18-year-old Samira Dean, admitted to stealing a car earlier that day and selling it for $200 and some marijuana. She now faces armed robbery charges. The driver, Calvin Nante Jeans, was charged with armed robbery, firearm possession, and first-degree reckless endangerment. If convicted, he could face up to 114 years behind bars. What started as a reckless joyride ended in life-altering consequences for everyone involved. February 27th, 2023. Grovetown, Georgia. If you're going to run from the police, maybe don't choose a cement truck. Eric Bott of Grovetown, Georgia, had other ideas. He spotted a Terex cement truck idling at a gas station while the driver ran in for a snack. The truck was left running to keep the cement from hardening, because who would be bold enough to steal an 80,000-pound mixer? Bott, that's who. What followed was one of the slowest, wildest chases Georgia State Police had ever seen. With no way to pit maneuver or box in the massive truck, police turned to spike strips. When that didn't work, officers hatched a new plan: shoot out the radiator. One trooper cleared the road while another pulled alongside the truck, leaned out the window, and unloaded into the radiator. The plan worked. Fluids poured out, and the truck gradually came to a stop.
I've got him at gunpoint if somebody can come out and see if we can get this door open.
Bott was arrested and charged with motor vehicle theft, fleeing, and reckless driving. Oh, and his record? Already loaded with aggravated assault and DUI charges. Stealing a cement truck might not be the best getaway plan, but Bott definitely made it unforgettable.
So you're in the market for a new camera, but you're not sure what sensor size you need. Well, there are four main kinds: medium format, full frame, APS-C, and micro 4/3. So which one should you get? Before we get started, I need to clarify something. I'll be mentioning something called crop factor here.
April 26th, 2024. Craighead County, Arkansas. Police from multiple agencies were locked in a high-speed pursuit of a stolen black Jeep Cherokee out of Jonesboro. The chase crisscrossed jurisdictions before the suspect took it off-road, using the Jeep's capabilities to his advantage.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. My fault. Maple, what's up? Leroy. Now I was saying I have a Wacom Cintiq. I didn't even realize I was on mute. Yeah, it makes life a lot easier. Edit in real time. You can see exactly what you're editing.
Several officers struggled to navigate the narrow forest paths. The driver knew these woods well and managed to put distance between himself and the police. But officers weren't giving up. As they regrouped, two squad cars collided while attempting to rejoin the chase. An eager but unfortunate mistake. Fortunately, everyone walked away with only minor bumps and bruises. Eventually, 52-year-old Edward Gene Huff of Clarksville, Tennessee, was arrested off camera. Inside the stolen Jeep, police found a glass pipe and 0.5 grams of methamphetamine. Huff was charged with felony fleeing, possession of drug paraphernalia, and theft by receiving. Taking the chase off-road may have bought him some time, but it didn't buy him his freedom.
This is my favorite one, man. I had a few of them. This right here, it's like my baby.
March 30th, 2022. I-55, Arkansas. Arkansas State Trooper Blaine Middlecoff was cruising south when a black sedan came flying up behind him. His rear-facing radar confirmed it, 90 miles per hour in a 75 zone. The chase was on. The black sedan shot down the highway, hitting well over 100 miles per hour, weaving dangerously between 18-wheelers. But Middlecoff played it smart. He knew the long Arkansas highways don't have many turns or exits. Eventually, the suspect had to make a mistake. And he did, taking an exit straight into Middlecoff's hands. Once stopped,
super smooth,
the officer found a handgun, marijuana, and a digital scale with drug residue inside the car. When questioned, the driver had a ridiculous excuse. "I was scared, and running from you was fun." Well, you know what's not fun? Jail.
Yeah, the workflow is a lot faster, a lot easier.
On November 12th, 2024, ASP Trooper David Whipple was handling a highway crash on I-44-0 when he noticed a driver texting behind the wheel. He flagged the car down near a construction zone, planning to deal with it shortly. However, that driver, 31-year-old Michael Lewis, had a much bigger problem: felony warrants. Sticking around meant a guaranteed trip to jail, but running, maybe there was a slim chance he could escape.
Appreciate it, man. I'm gonna show you the before and after in a few seconds.
throwing bags out the window about 2 miles back.
Welcome to our Wi-Fi.
Stay invisible to online monsters. Get Surfshark for
Lewis continued driving at a high rate of speed until he lost control at the intersection of 3M Road and East 39th Street.
When Trooper Whipple and his partner approached to make the arrest, things got tricky. With bushes and a smoking car blocking the driver's door, Michael had to climb out through the passenger side window. He didn't get far. Officers quickly cuffed him and walked him back to the patrol car. And that's when the real fun started.
This is the before.
A search revealed over $2,100 in cash stuffed in Michael's pocket, along with 40 oxycodone pills, a bag of marijuana, a digital scale, and an open bottle of alcohol in the car. If you're going to drive around with drugs and active warrants, at least do it sober. Michael clearly missed that memo.
Hey, coming up on your six, Hands!
June 12th, 2024, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta police responded to a shooting on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. 4 suspects fled the scene in a blue Tesla.
I did this in like
escape. Officers located the
30
vehicle
minutes.
nearby and, with help from an aerial unit, tracked it until the driver lost control and stopped in the middle of the road.
Heavy traffic overhead, y'all. Heavy traffic overhead. Almost 41, we are still southbound Whitehall, crossing over 48. Heavy traffic overhead, y'all. Heavy traffic overhead. Almost 41, we are still southbound Whitehall, crossing over 48. 60 miles wrong, travel again, back on the right side. Maintain.
Behind the wheel was 18-year-old Cavius Campbell, a familiar name to Atlanta PD. In 2023, he faced murder charges, which were later dropped. By April 2024, he was out on bond for theft and gang-related charges. 2 months later, he was back at it, opening fire on a man at a convenience store. Fortunately, the victim survived.
Hey, coming up on your six, Hands! Go. I got a question. But it's not question time. It's not talking time. Stop moving. Yeah.
This chase landed Campbell with a fresh list of charges: aggravated assault, reckless driving, felony fleeing, and weapons possession after police found a gun strapped to his ankle. Even his accomplice couldn't escape. One was caught outside city limits. Campbell's flashy Tesla ride didn't end in freedom, but in handcuffs.
Put your arms back out. Stop moving.
November 18th, 2022. Wisconsin, a quiet city on the southern edge of Lake Winnebago, took a wild turn when officers got a call about a suspicious vehicle idling on the side of the road. The caller was close enough to get the license plate, and when police ran it, it was stolen. We all know how this goes. Car thieves don't like pulling over when the cops are on their tail. At first, the driver tried a valiant escape, taking a stolen ride off-road through fields and dirt paths. Back on the main road, he attempted to put some distance between himself and the pursuing officers. Then he got a bright idea, off-roading again. This time, his passenger bailed mid-chase, probably figuring police custody was safer than riding with this maniac. When officers questioned the passenger, he gave an innocent explanation.
These are the ones
They
I
were
just
getting
did.
the mail. As unlikely as it sounded, the story actually checked out. What he didn't know, they were doing it all in a stolen car.
Platform slowing down, going into farm field here on the south end. Before we arrived, he was wearing a black jeans and with more travels through a platform field.
Okay. Oh, the girl one now to edit.
Stay on the ground, do not move. What are you guys doing?
Meanwhile, the driver sped into a high school parking lot. Officers made the tough call to call off the chase. It wasn't worth the risk. The passenger, however, identified the driver and even warned officers about the gun in his lap.
Stay right there. Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Meet the new standard in sleep. This is Pod 4 Ultra.
All right, bud. We're gonna search you, okay?
What's in your wallet?
Nothing.
I see the syringes right there. What is
Yeah,
that?
that's it. I have.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Oh!
Just search the back, small the back. That's it. All I have is. Hey, buddy, you got any weapons on you? No, man. I was trying to get out. That's probably his. Yeah. I was trying to get out of the car, man. Do you need medical attention?
Authorities haven't released much more about the case, but they did issue a nationwide warrant for his arrest. No matter where he runs, police in any state can and will send him back to Wisconsin. On February 3rd, 2025, Sergeant Dylan Evans clocked an orange Dodge Charger speeding at 83 miles per hour in a 65 miles per hour zone. The driver, Brandon Williams, initially complied with the traffic stop, but suddenly fled, reaching speeds over 140 miles per hour.
Trooper Evans, Arkansas State Police, reason I'm out with you for your speed, guys at 83 miles per hour when you're coming at me. Have your license, registration, proof of insurance.
Sergeant Wright executed a tactical maneuver to stop the vehicle. As officers closed in, Williams threw a Ziploc bag, later found to contain 90 grams of marijuana, out of the window. A black digital scale was also discovered in the car.
Forever, man.
Put your hands behind your back. Hey, check the car. Open that door. I got it. Hang on. You're good. Good night. I got it unlocked. It's unlocked. It's unlocked. All right. You got him covered? Yeah. All right, cover him. There's a weed. He tried to throw. Yeah, that's all. Good job. Empty thing. 10-15. Clear the next. Next and left. Get up.
I'm in club, decent.
Williams was taken into custody without resistance and now faces multiple charges, including reckless driving, fleeing, and possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute. Join us for our thrilling shoots if you crave more heart-pounding action and breathtaking excitement. Don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button.
Studio quality AI.
I was doing good out there. I was not selling drugs. I was doing none of that. I wasn't. I was trying to get my life on track, man. I'm sorry. Please don't send me to 13 years. Please don't.
It's justice because I gave you more opportunities. I'm talking right now. Oh, you don't, do you? This is how you behave. You deserve every month that you get.
This is
Yeah,
convicted
these are
drug
ones that we
lord
edited.
Jose Gouveia Jimenez. Police say that Jimenez was working with a Mexican cartel to operate a heroin trafficking operation that brought as much as 100 kilos of the drug into Columbus every month. The investigation resulted in the seizure of 25 kilos of heroin, which was worth a whopping $2.5 million. Jimenez pleaded guilty to 2 counts of trafficking, along with 1 count of engaging in a corrupt activity, and is appearing at the Franklin County Courthouse today for sentencing. Far from the heights of his glory days as the ringleader of a Columbus drug operation, Jimenez shuffles into the courtroom wearing khaki prison-issued scrubs. However, he hasn't completely lost his sense of steely command as he shoots a quick, icy stare at the narcotics investigators who are in court to see their hard work come to fruition. Assistant Prosecutor Dan Stanley begins the hearing by making Jimenez's high-ranking position within the operation abundantly clear.
This is the ringleader of an organization that is so fear-inspiring that the people who come here from Mexico refuse to testify against it because they know as soon as they are born, their family will be murdered in Mexico.
He also speaks of the
That
fear-inducing
27 inch
power
show
of
you
the
real quick.
cartel and the difficulties this poses when trying to obtain convictions against gang members. All the while, Jimenez maintains his stance, standing bolt upright while glaring into the distance. A female witness, who's not shown on camera to protect her identity,
Okay.
gives evidence to the court about how she helped Jimenez to store and move heroin in the Columbus area.
He was bringing me the drugs to my house.
What kind of drugs?
Heroin.
Yeah, but you don't have to get this one.
A
They have
kilo, and the last time 2 kilos.
Watch Jimenez as she testifies. You'd be forgiven for thinking he was a
you
statue.
can go down to like the
Closely,
16.
you'll see that he does in fact blink. The ringleader has
Right
been
here.
stone cold up until now, and his lack of remorse is about
Right
to
now
get
they doing
clearer
like an instant
as he addresses
savings
the
for
court through an
$100, so
interpreter.
about 49. This one good. My boy got this one right here.
Jimenez stands and expresses some form of apology curtly in
Yeah, I got a
Spanish,
27
looking
inch
as if
because
he's
I was doing
choking
graphic
on every
design,
word.
so I
His
need like all
translator
the
manages
landscape
to
as
make his
possible.
words sound more human in English. However, Judge Kimberly Cocroft isn't buying any of his feeble regret, and she takes him to task on his claims that his accountability has been inflated by the prosecution team.
I'm surprised to hear you saying today that your participation is overblown.
The judge reminds him sharply that she informed him of his statutory requirements for a conviction before jailing Jimenez for 21 years in prison. She also orders that the drug baron be deported immediately upon discharge.
I was very intentional about explaining to you the statutory
Nah, you won't regret it, man. It caused embarrassing, but you gotta always invest in yourself. Matter of fact, what's your Instagram? We follow
He's
you.
released, and instead just saunters from the courtroom with an expression of disdain on his face. Jimenez's total lack of emotion is unnerving, and as we see in the next case, Dexter Lee Williams shows a similar level of catatonic coldness. However, in Williams' case, someone else is getting worked up on his behalf.
We talking about from me, Judge? You holding what I said?
So yeah, it's your valid.
I'm talking to Mr. Williams. I've heard everything. And
Right, but you're
They
holding
followed you personal.
what other accusations? He
I
didn't
already follow you
testify,
on
so you're holding what I said.
the photography page.
The 53-year-old kingpin is just about to be sentenced at Houston County Superior Court.
Yeah, no, your
after being
lifestyle's a
convicted
fire.
on 3 counts of violating the Racketeer and Corrupt Organizations Act. The conviction stems from drug trafficking charges brought against Williams, who police said was leading a multi-million-dollar trafficking operation between Mexico and Atlanta. When taken into custody, he had 39 kilos of cocaine in his possession, worth an estimated $3.5 million. Here he is talking and laughing to himself in the back of the police car following his arrest.
So I bought a $500 bottle of Creative Rentis because it's the world's most popular fragrance, potentially of all time.
Son of a bitch, they thought me had pass. Should have never walked into that fucking house.
Sentencing Williams is Judge Bo Adams, and he has some strong words for the defendant, who sits impassively in his seat.
In your case, it's not a mere possession case. It's not a mere struggle that you have with an addiction that you personally have. It is not.
Nah, you fired though. Just keep on doing. You gotta do more studios though.
You are feeding the addiction that they're battling with, and you're
Gotta mix both of them.
profiting from their addiction.
While Williams might be unmoved by Judge Adams, his defense attorney, Wanda Jackson, is growing noticeably agitated by the judge's words, and she sighs and leans back irritably in her seat.
You were convicted not because the court is underhanded or corrupted or is corrupt or anything like that.
And it seems that the penny finally drops for the defendant, and the sentencing is not going well for him. He shares a look with Wanda Jackson, and what happens next is something you don't see too often in a sentencing hearing. Williams continues to stare on without emotion. Wanda Jackson has heard enough, and incredibly, takes issue with Judge Adams.
We talking about from me, Judge? You holding what I said against my client?
I'm talking to Mr. Williams. I've heard everything. And
Right, but you're holding what other accusations? He didn't testify, so you're holding what I said.
I've heard everybody. I've heard it all.
Who else said it?
I've heard it all. I've heard it all. It's my time.
She attempts to scold him for insinuating that her defense case was filled with wild accusations. But the judge cuts her off and goes on with his speech.
Mr. Williams, you're convicted not because I'm corrupt or underhanded, or law enforcement is racist, or the jury had unauthorized contact with witnesses. You're convicted because you're guilty. That's the plain and simple.
We got deployed to. I'm in the army. I mean, I used to be. I just got out.
At the end of it all, I find that you, I would say, should be sentenced for your involvement, your participation in this racketeering enterprise, and your acquiring significant sums of money.
Jackson, however, remains unimpressed and can be seen gesturing with her hands and huffing. Judge Adams ultimately sentences Williams to a total of 40 years without parole, and even the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison isn't enough to stir a reaction from the stone-cold dealer.
And at the end of it all, for count one, I will sentence Mr. Williams to 20 years to serve. Count two, I will sentence him to 20 years. That will be consecutive to count one, and I'm going to require that be served. 20 years to serve. Count three, I already indicated that is merged with count one. So that'll be the sentence of the court.
Jackson is less than pleased, though, and she gathers her things and stands to leave before the judge has a chance to finish speaking.
So that'll be the sentence of the court as a result of...
Thank you, may I be excused?
All right.
For Williams, it was the allure of power and money that drew him to trafficking. But as we see in the case of Wallace Bigger, not all dealers live a lavish lifestyle.
I believe the judge is biased, and I said from the start, Andrew Tommy would not to be a fair trial.
Police say that Bigger moved a significant pipeline of prescription drugs through Antrim County in northern Michigan over the course of a number of years. The operation involved obtaining thousands of morphine pills and other controlled medications from a doctor in Saginaw, which were then sold by Bigger from a number of locations across the county. However, despite bringing in more than $20,000 from the spoils of his illegal trade, Bigger barely got by, living in practical squalor in a camper van on his daughter's driveway. Throughout his trial, the 71-year-old remained defiant, protesting his innocence and berating his legal counsel and the criminal justice system as a whole. He tried to fire his lawyer on a number of occasions and claimed that he was framed by law enforcement officials. He was eventually convicted of conducting a criminal enterprise, the most serious charge possible under Michigan's racketeering laws. Today, Bigger is appearing before Judge Philip Rogers for sentencing. The judge doesn't hold back as he lays out the elderly drug lord's trashy living conditions and resentful nature.
To live a big lifestyle where you're sitting out next to the cement pond with the BMW parked in the driveway? No, you weren't. You lived a pretty crummy lifestyle, time to time, in a camper in your daughter's front driveway, but it didn't stop you from being manipulative. It didn't stop you from abusing other people.
Bigger is less than pleased, and when he approaches the podium to speak, what he has to say shocks the court.
I did not sell drugs, and I will not admit to nothing.
Maintaining his brazen pretense, the drug dealer continues to feign innocence. He then goes on to complain bitterly about his lawyer and even goes as far as to accuse Judge Rogers of being biased, repeating his claim that he did not get a fair trial.
I believe the judge is biased, and I said right from the start, Andrew County would not give me a fair trial. And I did not get a fair trial. And I got a screwy lawyer.
The prosecution team disregards his dubious claims, arguing that he was the main pill dealer in Antrim County as they appeal to the judge for the harshest sentence possible. They want to use Wallace Bigger to set an example for any other would-be dealers.
He was the primary provider of morphine during that time period within Antrim County. He kept going back to Saginaw and was getting 800 pills a month, bringing them back here.
You've probably seen a gaggle of donkeys on YouTube ads trying to sell you the next great how to make money online thing. These guys are annoying. I know some of them personally. I promise you what I have to offer you is better than their stuff. It actually
is something at the high end of the guidelines, and the consecutive nature will send a message to anybody that may want to fill that vacuum that regardless of your age, there is a consequence if you are caught trafficking this quantity of controlled substance.
Judge Rogers ultimately sentences Bigger to a minimum of 20 years in total, meaning he will likely never see the light of day again.
I am sentencing you to 180 to 360 months on charge number 1. On charge 2, the controlled substance delivery charge, 23 to 240 months. Charges 3 and 4, 23 to 240 months. On the maintaining a drug house, 16 to 24 months. And on conducting the criminal enterprise, that's 50 to 240 months.
Most drug lords like Bigger are convicted for possessing illegal substances with the intent to distribute, and rarely face any charges in relation to the effect that their drugs have on their vulnerable customers. However, occasionally, dealers are held to account for the consequences of their actions, and one such case is Aaron Andrade. The 25-year-old drug dealer is in court today for sentencing after admitting his part in the overdose death of 29-year-old Kristen Kutu. Kutu had left a drug treatment facility just 2 days before her death because her insurance wouldn't cover more than 30 days of inpatient treatment. On the day she died, she arranged to buy drugs from Andrade, but unknown to her, the heroin the dealer gave her was laced with a fatal dose of fentanyl.
The Attorney General says it's the first time a drug dealer has been convicted of murder of someone who overdosed, a landmark case with many implications for how the state will prosecute dealers.
Andrade pleaded no contest to second-degree murder in relation to Kutu's death in a plea agreement that saw 2 further drug charges against him dismissed. At sentencing, Judge Kristen Rogers hears submissions from the prosecution on the nature of the evidence they held against Andrade.
The state would have proven that what the defendant really sold Kristen Kutu was nearly pure fentanyl, a controlled substance like heroin or morphine, hundreds of times more toxic than heroin.
She asks the defendant if the facts of the case are true, and he admits that they are.
Are all of these facts true?
Yes, ma'am.
Kristen Kutu's mother then gives an emotional impact statement, recalling the horror of being told her daughter overdosed.
2 Cranston police officers standing there
All I could say repeatedly was, please don't tell me my daughter is dead. Please don't tell me my daughter is dead.
Family members look on in the public gallery, weeping, and Kristen's mom even has to stop at one stage so that a grieving relative can leave the room.
It's okay. It's okay.
Following the impact statements, Andrade stands to speak, and what he says surprises the court.
I know I hurt a lot of people, including her family and my family, because we're all going through this.
Unlike most convicts, Andrade takes full responsibility for what he has done, expressing remorse and a clear understanding that his actions have caused untold grief for the Coutu family. However, Andrade's repentant words can't save him, and Judge Rogers hands him 40 years with 20 to serve.
Your Honor, this defendant stands before you indicted on, among others, the count of murder for, as the state alleges, delivering a substance containing fentanyl which killed Kristen Coutu.
The remorseful dealer shows no visible reaction to the sentence as he calmly accepts his fate. While truly genuine remorse like Andrade's might be an unusual occurrence in the courtroom, most defendants will try to appear at least a little bit contrite when put before a judge. However, a small few, like Charles Crosty, are so cold and unapologetic that even a significant prison sentence doesn't knock a stir out of them. Crosty is in Clement County Court for sentencing on drug trafficking and corruption charges. The 35-year-old was found guilty on 12 counts after being caught in possession of $5,000 worth of heroin and cocaine that was intended for the streets of New Richmond. Crosty has a long criminal history spanning back to the age of 14, and police say that he set up his dealing empire just 4 months after being released from a previous prison stint for trafficking heroin. The hearing kicks off with Assistant Prosecutor Darren Miller trying to impress on Judge Thomas Herman the extent of the damage done to the community by Crosty.
Heroin is bad enough, but laced with fentanyl, it becomes a game of Russian roulette. And individuals like Charles Crosty provide the weapon, they provide the bullet, and they spin the chamber, pointing at the addict's head, and all the addict has to do is pull the trigger. That's who Charles Crosty is.
Officials say that while the defendant was active, overdoses and drug-related deaths spiraled due to large amounts of fentanyl-laced heroin on the streets. Crosty's drug-dealing antics are scandalous enough, but when Police Chief Randy Harvey tells the court how he forced addicts to sell his products, the court is stunned by what he has to say.
They would have black eyes or their face would be swollen, and I would ask them, how did this occur? And they would frankly tell me that Charles Crosty and his associates would beat them.
You heard right. Crosty would feed the addictions of his customers and then beat them senseless until they agreed to sell drugs on the streets for him. Crosty seemingly couldn't care less about his horrific actions being laid bare to the court and simply rolls his eyes as Harvey speaks. The defendant continues to stare vacantly as Judge Herman lists off his lengthy criminal record before sentencing him to 20 years and 9 months in prison. True to form, Crosty doesn't even flinch as the weighty sentence is handed down. Thankfully for New Richmond residents, their town will now be safer for a long time to come. While many kingpins like Crosty prefer the ultimate power and glory of working alone, a small few choose to tag team their responsibilities. And as we see in the next case, some even choose to make it a family business. This is Rashad Johnson, and this is his brother Marquez Johnson. The Jacksonville siblings are appearing before Duval County Judge R. Anthony Salem for sentencing after being tried together and convicted of drug trafficking and possession charges. Their arrests came after police raided a trap house on the east side of Jacksonville, and the charges they were convicted of had drug enhancements because both men were identified as leaders of the ruthless 1200 Out East gang. Watch the brotherly love as Marquez shoots Rashad a nod of acknowledgement. Prior to sentencing, members of the Johnson family file into the witness box to plead for leniency, telling the judge that the men have 7 kids between them.
I often think about the things I could have done different as a parent. I know my sons could have had a better outcome in life.
And he's a family man?
He is.
And do you feel he's a good father?
He's a great father. Your Honor, I pray and ask the true mercy for him. I pray that there's some resources to help them grow.
Then the brothers take it in turns to address the judge.
I don't know what kind of sentence you will hand out today, but I will ask that you be lenient towards me. I have a beautiful family, which includes 4 kids and a stepchild. I am not a bad person. I'm not a monster. I'm not a gang member. Just a human being who made mistakes.
Rashad throws himself at the mercy of Judge Salem, claiming to simply be a man who has made mistakes. In a similar vein, Marquez denies any involvement in gang activity.
I am not labeled as a menace, an animal, or a gang member, or in my community or anywhere else. And I just want to say I'm sorry to my family once again for putting me through the situation and letting them down.
Prosecutors aren't buying it, and they argue that the Johnson brothers had plenty of opportunity to clean up their act, but continued to engage in gang-related activities.
They had the opportunity to better their lives after serving 3 years in the Florida State Prison, and they came back out and continued doing the same pattern of criminal activity that they'd been arrested so many times before for. They even moved out of their community.
Yeah, and I could tell it,
Instead
man.
of staying out of their community and getting jobs, the court has heard nothing from any of these witnesses about legal jobs that they had. They provided for their families financially, but how are they doing that? By selling drugs.
The men stand side by side to hear their fate, and with the futures of two men hanging in the balance, it seems like Judge Salem has a heavy decision to make. The sentence he hands down stuns the courtroom.
You're adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 30 years Florida State Prison, with 581 days credit.
Loud sobs echo through the public gallery from the men's supporters as a hefty 30-year sentence is imposed on both brothers. As upset as the men's family members may be, the brothers seem to be taking their 3-decade punishment in stride, as Rashad turns and waves goodbye to his family without a trace of sadness as he is led from the courtroom. The Johnson brothers' sentences may seem heavy to some, but they're nothing compared to the punishment that Robert Lloyd Schellenberg faced when he was caught trafficking drugs in China. According to state prosecutors in China, Schellenberg attempted to smuggle 222 kilograms of methamphetamine from Dalian, which is a city in the Liaoning province, to Australia. When the Canadian man realized that his translator had informed Chinese police he was transporting drugs, he fled and boarded a plane to Thailand, but was later arrested when the plane had a stopover at an airport in the Guangdong province. Despite claiming that he was just an innocent tourist who was unfortunately set up by a drug dealer, Schellenberg was tried and sentenced to 15 years in prison. He later appealed and was granted a retrial, which took place a few months later. We see him here during his second trial, in a different angle to the first trial, where he faced accessory criminal charges. The prosecution seem to be going for broke now and are maintaining that Schellenberg played a crucial and important role in the trafficking. It may have been poor timing on his part, as the retrial took place just 1 month after Canadian authorities arrested Meng Wanzhou, the chief financial officer of Huawei, on charges of bank fraud in Canada. Chinese authorities were not happy with this arrest, and it seems they are now scapegoating Schellenberg in a game of diplomatic tit-for-tat. Schellenberg is again found guilty, and as his sentence is read out, he probably wishes that he had served out his 15 years and kept his mouth shut. Presiding Judge Qiu Chunhua is pulling no punches as she sentences Schellenberg to death. Yes, death.
罗伯特·劳埃德、谢伦伯格犯走私毒品罪，判处死刑，并处没收个人全部财产。
In an unusual move which is suspected to be a veiled message to Canadian authorities, the sentencing is broadcast across Chinese state media. Schellenberg gestures and looks devastated as he realizes what the judge has just said.
Yeah, it was cool, you
His
know,
utter
like I was
bewilderment is
like,
clear from the
exactly what you're
expression on
doing,
his face
man. Getting
as
the
he tries to
clientele
come
out
to
there.
terms with his punishment.
Just keep throwing out
International
content.
speculation is that the judge gave a capital sentence to put pressure
I don't know
on
how
Canada to
the
release
the
Meng
unit
Wanzhou.
is, you
Schellenberg
know,
later
having
appeals
you
the
do
death
content
sentence,
and stuff.
but his
But
application is rejected by
mine's
the
is
court.
cool, you know.
Wanzhou, on the other hand, is later
Cool with
released
it.
and allowed to travel back to China. As of 2023, Schellenberg remains in a Chinese prison facing death. Harsh sentences like Schellenberg's are not unheard of in Asian countries, and nobody knows this better than Felix Dorfin. The 35-year-old French man was convicted of trafficking 3 kilos of various drugs into Indonesia after being caught on Lombok Airport with a suitcase filled with ecstasy and amphetamines. He later escaped and was on
Another
the
thing
run
I was
for 2
doing, I was
weeks before
posting. I
being
continuously
recaptured.
just posting.
Indonesia is known to have some of the strictest
That
drug
way it seemed
laws
like
in
I'm
the
active,
world.
but not really
Although
active.
The amount of drugs Dorfin was carrying was relatively small.
I kept my
He still
clientele.
faces a severe
You know, by
punishment.
the time I got
During
back,
his trial,
I
prosecutors
already
asked
have
for a
like
20-year jail
shoots
sentence,
set up.
along with a $700,000 fine. It's a hefty sentence, but Dorfin is likely reassured that they're not pursuing the death penalty. He sits calmly with his lawyer as the judge begins to give their ruling. However, his relief is about to be short-lived. Unfortunately for Dorfin, Indonesian judges are known to sometimes exceed the prosecutor's demands, and in this case, presiding judge is Nurul Siamsul, is in a particularly acrimonious mood. He brings the gavel down sharply as he hands Dorfin a death sentence. Dorfin's eyes drop as the reality of what the judge has said sinks in. He then appears to say something angrily to his lawyer before standing up and leaving the courtroom looking devastated. He later appeals the ruling, and luckily, his capital sentence is commuted to 19 years in prison. Although the harshest of sentences for drug-related offenses are normally handed down outside of the Western world, there have been exceptions to this rule over the years. Take, for example, Jeff Mizanski. In 1996, Mizanski was caught by police as he tried to sell 3 kilograms of marijuana to a dealer connected to Mexican drug cartels. Unluckily for the Missouri man,
keep dropping
he
the
already had
content.
2
That way
previous
she
drug-related
stay relevant.
offenses dating back over a decade. This meant that under a Missouri law for persistent drug offenders, a sentence of life with no parole was allowed. Despite the fact that Jeff's record was non-violent, incredibly, Jeff began his life sentence in the same year that California legalized marijuana for medical use. Over the years, Jeff and his family campaigned for clemency, even raising almost 400,000 signatures on a Change.org petition. But their efforts are fruitless, and Jeff remains incarcerated. However, he gives regular interviews from behind bars, expressing his opinion that he was unfairly treated and deserves a second chance.
Justice is supposed to be fair and equal. In my case, I don't think it was.
After more than 20 years in prison for nothing more than possession of marijuana, Jeff has spent a third of his life behind bars, and he becomes emotional as he reflects on the more important things he has missed out on over that time.
Found that out about a month ago. I got grandkids I've never seen.
The Mizanski family's years of lobbying and campaigning finally start to pay off, and in 2015, the issue was brought to the attention of Governor Jay Nixon when Mizanski appeals to the legislator through a local TV interview. What happens next is like a ray of light at the end of a very long tunnel for Jeff.
Do you even go there thinking about that moment where you'll get out?
Many times. Try not to, but yeah, I do. I dream about being able to grab my grandkid.
Governor Nixon promises to review the case before he leaves office.
The laws change after someone is sentenced, then you want to give those things a close look.
He stays true to his word and commutes Jeff's sentence, meaning he can argue for his freedom before a parole board. Watch the incredible moment that he walks free from prison after spending more than 2 decades in prison.
3 weeks ago, you said the first thing you wanted to do was get some new shoes. So how
And I got them.
Wow. Hey, it's like walking on air.
He has spent the years since his release actively campaigning for the approval of medicinal cannabis. Another convict who knows the danger of repeat offending is Zaire Duffy, though his offenses are much more serious than Mizanski's. However, in an interesting parallel, he's been given more chances than the pot dealer ever did.
They just made me look like a monster. The person they just made me out to be, I'm scared of that person that they just tried to make me out to be. You heard, I was doing good out there. I was not selling drugs. I wasn't doing none of that. I was trying to get my life on track, man.
Oh, the MP.
Duffy has a record of drug-related offenses dating back 5 years, and he's been through the doors of the Lorain Municipal Court in Ohio so many times that Judge Raymond Ewers is plain tired of seeing him.
The 8 cases you had in this courtroom showed to me that you were a potential menace to society.
Judge Ewers has given him a number of chances, but Duffy is back in court today after being arrested for violating his parole, and it isn't for a minor misdemeanor. The 25-year-old led deputies on a high-speed car chase when they tried to arrest him on a separate warrant. When the chase finally ended, officers recovered large quantities of fentanyl and heroin, along with a Ruger SR-40 pistol. Unsurprisingly, Assistant Prosecutor Donna Freeman wants Duffy off the streets, and she's going for the jugular.
The state would ask that you sentence this defendant to the maximum amount of time allowed by law. He has been involved in a number of offenses involving guns, drug trafficking, high-speed chases with the police. He has no regard for society.
Duffy takes his opportunity to make one last appeal to the judge, and given his history of violent drug-related crime, you won't believe how he behaves.
They just made me look like a monster. The person they just made me out to be, I'm scared of that person that they just tried to make me out to be. You heard, I was doing good out there. I was not selling drugs. I wasn't doing none of that. I was trying to get my life on track, man. And this man just told me, you
In stark contrast to his mean reputation, the career criminal breaks down and weeps like a baby.
I'm not a monster. I'm not a monster.
In a performance that could almost be worthy of an Oscar nomination. Even Judge Ewers seems amused by the uncharacteristic outburst, though thankfully he isn't buying any of it.
I was driving that car the other day when the police were chasing you.
I was driving.
Well, I think I've had plenty of time to observe how you would behave after you left prison. I hung significant prison time over your head because the 8 cases you had in this courtroom showed to me that you were a potential menace to society.
The judge continues his rant, and it's clear that he's done with giving Duffy second chances.
I gave you an opportunity. I gave you more than one opportunity. I gave you more opportunities than maybe I should have.
As Duffy's lengthy sentence is read out, his drama performance turns to a show of utter disrespect, and he turns his back on the judge. The expression on his attorney's face says it all, and he shoots the defendant a warning look and a few quiet words, which Duffy duly ignores. Watch as he turns and stares straight into the court camera with intent, and no tears in sight. He swings back toward the bench with a question for the judge,
I'm just asking what's the total sentence, sir?
who brings down the full weight of the law on him with the maximum sentence possible.
The total sentence would be for 13 years and 4 months.
Incredibly, Duffy becomes belligerent and begins to argue about the sentence, even dropping the F-bomb on Judge Ewers.
So you just gave me 13 years.
13 years and 4 months.
After 3s, 4s, and 5s, though.
That's
How
right.
is this a justice system, right?
It's justice because I gave you more opportunities. I'm talking right now.
However, Ewers gets the parting shot as Duffy is led away.
There you go. So long, pal. I gave you more chances than anyone would have ever given someone with 8 cases. This is how you behave. You deserve every month that you get.
The story doesn't end there for Duffy, though, and the 13 years he got was only in relation to his revoked parole. He's sentenced at a later date for the car chase and possession of the drugs and firearms, earning him a further 22 and a half years in federal prison, where he'll have plenty of time to brush up on those acting skills.
You need easy-to-apply DTF transfers from Ninja Transfers. Any design, any color, on any material. You don't get that with other transfers.
The whole process is super easy.
Hey, let's bring out our next single guy. Hello, welcome in. Good, how are you?
Pretty good, yourself?
What's your name?
Hi, my name is Kevin.
Kevin, how old are you?
I'm 36 years old.
And what do you do?
Yeah, I'm an enterprise account executive. I'm also an actor, and I have a family-owned business that sells Jamaican food and jerk chicken and jerk sauce.
Okay,
Yeah.
you be cooking or?
Yeah. Of
Oh,
course.
okay.
You gotta either dance or cook if you're Jamaican. You know what it is.
All right. And what are some things you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I like to travel a lot. Like, I've been to 12 countries in 2 years, the last 2 years. Like, I was in Paris for the Olympics. I went to the gold medal game. Shout out to Steph Curry. He did amazing. We were born the same week, but he makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. Yeah, I like to box. I like to work out, box, play basketball. And, like, I'm in the tech space, so I like helping, like, people, like kids, actually go ahead and get in the tech space at all. Also, like, I don't know if you watched the game, but one of the main lines they said was, you don't got to sell drugs to live life like you sell drugs. And I like to tell kids that and like to make sure that they like to get as much as possible out the world, you know, tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what are some things you look for in a woman?
Oh. Well, I'm not going to lie. This, I feel like you all know there's a gender war going on out there. Like people talking about, oh, yeah, men aren't doing this, women aren't doing this. I just want somebody that's willing to show up. I understand we both need to show up 100%. Don't think about what they're saying online. Actually just come out straight up. Somebody willing to be a partner and just understand that, you know, it's not about what people say or what people are complaining about. Actually take each other in and understand that, you know, we need to be our best selves looking forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you look for in a woman?
I look for that.
Okay.
I look for someone that's ambitious. I look for somebody that's ambitious. You know, like, I understand, like, even in a relationship, I got to be the best boyfriend, but then after that, I got to be the best husband, and then after that, I got to be the best father. So I look for someone that's trying to be the best girlfriend, that understand best wife and then mother.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not just about being the same. It's about continuing to evolve and be better as best as possible.
I see. All right. And now what are some of your deal breakers?
Oh my gosh. All right. So number one, just like, don't be negative. Like, try to be solutions orientated. Don't try to talk about why stuff doesn't work. It's like, how can stuff work? You know, try to have a positive attitude like that. Number two, like, I'm not saying you got to be overly religious, but just like, don't be atheist. Like, don't say I don't believe in anything. And it's 2025. I gotta say this. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have to, but like, for the sake of my kids, our future kids that I don't have yet, please, because kids are brutal today. If you have something for a subscription for $9.95 to OnlyFans or something like that, where they can get made fun of at the lunch table, or I gotta actually, when someone toasts and says, "Hey, I know she'll make you happy," I gotta say, "What do you mean by that?" That's a problem for me. So I mean, I don't think that's a big ask, but in today you just gotta ask that. So that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got some pop balloons. Let's go on over there, see why they ended up popping. All right. So we'll start over here. Your name and age.
I'm Janine. I'm 28.
Okay. And Janine, why did you end up popping your balloon?
I popped for a couple reasons. They're very superficial, so it's nothing personal. Obviously, I don't know you, but it was the mismatch colored jewelry, like that.
You mean the two-tone and the tennis string?
Yeah, I just don't like that combo. I don't know. I just don't like it. And then the shoes, and then also the height. Like those, like I said, those are very also like superficial things. I normally don't wear heels, but today I am. So in the occasion I do want to throw on heels, I kind of do want to be a little bit taller than my partner. But I do like everything you said. I think you're really funny, outgoing, and I think like your head is really on a good path and going straight forward.
Okay. So, you know, obviously I have to ask, how tall are you?
5'11".
5'11". Okay. How tall are you again?
I'm 5'6.5".
Girl.
Oh, but you know, I don't know. It's the heels and, you know, just the atmosphere off, like, based off initial attraction, like, you're fine, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like, like, you know, that's why I'm looking for, like, yeah. But,
All right. Now, is she someone that's your type?
No, I don't think so.
All right. And why not?
I don't know. It's just not the same thing you said. You said I'm fine, but my tongue wouldn't go as far as yours personally. That's all I can say.
That's funny.
but it was still. I mean, you're attractive, but to me, you're not. Like you said, maybe I'm not just reeking for you. The energy is just not reeking for me the same way. Yeah, but you do look nice though. I like the hair and like the beads.
Thank you. I did it myself.
Oh, what? That's what's up.
All right. Thank you. Let's go on over here. Your name and age?
Deanna, and I'm 29.
Right. Deanna, why did you end up popping your balloon?
So I ended up popping because he resembles my uncle.
Oh.
Like
Uncle's a fine man.
Yeah,
so.
my uncle's young. Me and him is not. We like close in age, but
okay.
he said a lot of good things. He dressed nice, handsome, but he just reminds me of my uncle. So yeah.
Like look-wise or
Yeah,
personality?
look, face. Yeah.
I see.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from New York.
Where are they from?
They're from Florida. Trinidad. They're like Trinidad.
Trinidad. I mean, I'm Jamaican. Maybe.
Okay, so cousins.
yeah. I mean, it's like,
All right. So his hair is fine. You didn't say the hair was
Well, I try to, deter from that, but, nothing's wrong with your hair. I just personally like lower cuts. Well, all of the guys have the same,
Okay.
But yeah, you're handsome. You said a lot of good things. You're dressed nice, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, is she someone that's your type?
Yeah, you're Trinidadian too?
No, I'm black.
You're just black?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks nice. I like the contrast from your skin to the dress.
You.
It's a good choice
Appreciate
today.
it.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Let's head on back. We have 4 beautiful ladies left. Go ahead and ask them a question.
Yeah, so I got a good question. So we all know the love languages, and honestly, they're reversible to mean something to some people and not mean something to other people. What's your love language, and why do you think it's important to you? What's your explanation, if you were to explain it, why it's important to you?
Okay. So what is your love language, and why is it important to them? Okay. Let's start over here. Your name and age?
So my name is Ashley, and I am 26. My love language is acts of service, just because I feel like that's what makes me feel like I'm cared for. You're attentive and, just nurturing. I just love like the little things of you know, the service, like holding the door, or, you know, tying my shoe, you know, stuff like that, you know. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's go on over here. Name and age and answer to his question.
Yes, I'm Brittany. I'm 28. I could kind of piggyback off of what she says. I do like acts of service, but to say something different, I would say quality time. I'm really big on spending time with someone, not all the time, but when we do spend time together, being present in that moment and being really together.
Your name and age and answer to his question.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. I'm 27. My love language is quality time. I really enjoy spending time with my partner, and I feel like being in person is really how you have a chance to develop the relationship. So yeah, I'm really looking for a partner.
Name and age and answer to his question.
My name's Ken Brianna, and I'm 26. Top 3 love languages are number 1 is words of affirmation. You know, just a little, you look good. Like, oh, you did that. Like, oh, thanks, babe, for that. You know, just something to, you know. Also, quality time, of course. I love spending time with really anybody that I care about, for real. And physical touch. And then it's not a love language, but food, feed me, please.
He did say he cooks.
Yeah. All of that. But
All
yeah.
right, cool. Thank you. And we did get a pop balloon over here. Why'd you end up popping?
Hi, my name is Hi, my name is Vanessa, and I'm 27. I ended up popping. I really like that you're in sales. I'm also in technology sales, and so that's something that I connected with you on. Also, you giving back to children. I also sit on a junior executive board, giving back to children. So those are things I connected with you on. Honestly, initially, I wasn't sure. I wanted to hear more about like what you do and like the answers to your own questions. I just felt like I was holding on to the balloon because I couldn't find a reason. So I don't want to make anything up. I think you're an attractive man. I like what you do. I like your jacket. Yeah.
Okay. So now is she someone that's your type?
You have a gap just like my mother, honestly. And I'm not gonna, it's a good thing. It's very homely. But honestly, I liked your colors. You look nice. Your reason, we're talking about just looking at her, right? Yeah, she looks.
Anything, or off what you heard, whatever it is for you, if that would make her your type, if not, if she's not.
Well, just looking at you, you're fine. I honestly, I love gaps because it just reminds me of the first person I've ever saw. But honestly, your reason, I'm always curious to just people's decision-making capabilities. I have no idea what you just said.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'll take it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like kind of nervous because like I haven't done this. Whatever. Can I have my balloon back?
Oh.
Can I have my balloon back? I want to hear more. Okay. I'm just like I don't want to make the wrong decision. Like I'm up here. I'm like, oh, should I pop or not? Okay.
Let's get her balloon back. Good. Hand it on over to her.
It's your life. All your job is to be sure about life. That's it to me. Like whatever you make a decision, just stand by it. If you can't stand by it, that's all I want people to do. Whatever y'all do, just stand by it.
I definitely stand by. I'm somebody that when I make a decision, I have very little like room. I make a decision quickly, but like when it comes to love, I feel like there's so many games that are played like in relationships and stuff. So it's like, should I, So yeah, this is a new experience. Okay, bear with me. I hope you didn't take offense to that.
No, you're
Let's
good.
continue.
All right, head on back this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm now gonna hand you a pick.
Yeah. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have you pop one balloon.
Okay.
Oh. All right. So why did you have your balloon unpopped?
He looks good. I like your career. I like that you give back to the community. I liked everything that you were saying. That's it.
Okay. And why'd you end up popping hers?
First of all, you're gorgeous. I love that you look like Whitley Gilbert from A Different World. A Jasmine Guy. That's her real name. Your reasons for the reason I just wanted to honestly, when I asked that question, the reason I asked that is just to see like how deep was it. You were just like
I didn't answer the second part.
You were just like I like to just get complimented. You were like words of affirmation, or I like to just see things. They actually went into the details of quality times means presence. They said what it meant. Yours was honestly so surface level. It didn't actually meant deeply in your heart what it meant to you. So in this situation, it's really is about like just being deeper within surface level, and just your answer at this point and what you just presented, that's what it was. It was just pretty surface level. They really went to what it meant to them, why it meant to them, and why they want to continue to have that. Yeah.
I respect it.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's head on back. We've got 3 beautiful ladies left. Go ahead and ask them another question.
Yeah. Who was your top 3 female role models growing up, and why?
Okay, let's start there and come back. All right, let's hear from you.
Okay, this is easy. Number 1, Omarosa Manigault Newman. The reason why is because she's bold, she's confident, she's unapologetic. She's just so sharp, and I just love her. Secondly, Oprah Winfrey. I kind of grew up seeing bits of her talk show, and again, unapologetic, powerful Black woman. Thirdly, I would say my mother. Again, strong, beautiful, confident, the epitome of what it means to be a Black woman. So, yeah.
Okay, what about over here?
Yes. I would say Madam C.J. Walker. She's the reason why, we're confident enough to wear our hair and do different things with our hair products and everything like that. And especially now, since, for a while we weren't even allowed to wear our hair out, that's a big deal. That confidence, building that confidence. I would say, who else? Of course, if we can add our parents to that, my mom is the one that helped build the confidence within me, and also taught me that, especially with the way the world is today, there's a time where you can take a back seat. You don't have to always be the strong Black woman. Thank you. You don't always have to be that. You can sit down and let that man lead as long as he is a leader. And that's something that my mom taught me. And then I would also say, it's going to sound kind of silly, but I guess since we're talking about growing up, I'd say maybe even, I hate to say this, Raven Simone. I used to love, that's so Raven. We're talking about growing up, right? So as a child, we have similar personalities. We have big personalities, and I used to always picture myself being someone who can walk into a room and be able to grab a presence. And that's what I learned just as a child watching TV and seeing like, oh, look, there's someone that looks like me, and she's also confident in herself. So from her Disney Channel days, I really did enjoy the message that she put out to little girls.
Thank you. And what about over here?
So first, I would say my mom. She has always been, my role model. I always look up to her. She is like the true definition of a trophy wife, an amazing mother. Like that's exactly how I want to be. So I do look up to her. I do look up to Beyonce. That's my girl. Beyonce, her songs just gave me the confidence. I just love listening to her. She just brings the light out in me, when I listen to her songs. And then Keke Palmer, she has always been that girl since younger, older, now. Like she has such an inspiring story. Like I always watch all her interviews and everything. I would love to meet her. So those 3 for sure.
All right, nice. Okay, it is time to pop. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pop 1 balloon. Oh, you dropped it?
Probably.
Okay, there you go. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pop 1 balloon.
Can you ask about mine?
You want the ladies to hear about your role models? Okay, go ahead.
Maybe they don't like that either.
Well, let's know. Yeah, go ahead. Let's let them hear your role models.
Oh yeah, growing up, I would say honestly, I asked you for 3. I knew one of y'all was going to be your mom. Definitely. So I had a feeling. So I said I really wanted to know 2. But so one is definitely my dad. The only reason why I had the confidence I have is because he said, "Yo, Kevin, you're handsome. Kevin, you can do that." And I know a lot of guys don't have that father presence, but just that makes me want to do that for somebody else one day. The second is Kobe Bryant. Just how he was never a victim. He just works hard no matter what. It doesn't matter what the obstacle. And third, I believe this guy is the messiah for Black kids everywhere and doesn't get enough credit, is Will Smith. Like, honestly, no one, like, he made us know that to be liked by women, you don't have to be a thug. You don't have to be like grimy or just like tough. He's a hood dude, but still respected by the hood dudes that doesn't act like a hood dude. He's a guy that's fresh, and he's a guy that plays ball. And that's really all black kids want to do, I felt, in my generation. Play ball, get women, and look cool. And honestly, he did that, and it really helped me, and I feel like a lot of my other friends realized we could just be educated, be yourself, and don't really got to go to the corner. So, well, I respect you for that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to hear that from you. So it is now time to pop a balloon. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pop one.
All right. First of all, these are my top 3 colors I love to wear. I just want to let this.
I know. They look so good. All right. So we saw you did get your balloon back. And so what made you ask for it back and what made you hang on to it?
I think that when I considered the reason why I popped initially, it might have just been fear or uncertainty. And so I wanted to give him a chance to show me more.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And why'd you end up popping hers?
There's nothing wrong with you at all. Thank you for the second life. I appreciate it. I feel like Mario. But honestly, it was really just a comparison. Like, your answer was a 9.8, theirs was a 10. Sorry. Like, honestly, about their answers, there's a hidden agenda behind those. They love people that are unapologetically themselves. Keke Palmer is unapologetically herself. Raven Simone's unapologetic. Even in the shows, that's what they did. They want to just be themselves and move forward. They don't care what they want to talk about. Yours was, which I still do respect, it was very business-oriented and being a strong, considerate woman. But I still don't know how Oprah is in a relationship. And I don't know how Madam CJ is in a relationship. She seems like she works so hard. But I can imagine how Keke is Keke has some things to worry about, but either way, Keke's going to be Keke, and Raven's going to be Raven. And the fact that, and Beyonce's going to be Beyonce. And they work hard, they're apologetic to themselves, and their art's appreciated. So I just saw that. That's really what I wanted. Yours was, and it's funny because actually it matches your reason for not popping, because it was for business reasons and wanting to hear more that I want. And those are what those two people do, which they're very business oriented and want to keep getting stuff. So I know I said a lot, but yeah. yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. I mean,
9.8
there was psychology.
9.8 though.
I mean, personally, I like my answers, but I understand when you explain it, there was psychology behind your answer, which, I mean, I can't be mad at. Who I am is who I am, and I answered honestly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've got 2 ladies left. Ladies, any questions for our guy? You ready?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, what is your relationship with God? Like, do you go, like, to church every Sunday, or is it just, like, every once in a while, or do you read, go to Bible study, or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. I pray every day, at least 4 times a day. If I don't go to church, I try to stream it. To me, like, going to church is like going to the gym. Like, I feel like you can always do more. I want to do more. Even if I would rate myself as a 7, I think I need to be a 10. So I think I'm good. I still pray every day, but I think the room for being in small groups and like not just hearing the pastor, but actually hearing about real life situations in little groups could be better. That's how I feel personally. I could do better as accountability that I think I'm messing up and could be a little better with. But still, the vision is there. I want to be better. But I right now, like, yeah, like I hold him in everything I do. I pray about every decision I make, and yeah, like I want my kids to do the same.
Any questions here?
Yes. What are your views on traditional relationships, or what do you think a traditional relationship will look like?
Oh my gosh. Can you unpack that a little bit more?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm asking, would you want a relationship, let's say, like your mother would have had with her husband, or are you more along the lines of how dating is today, where it's a lot of meet me halfway? There's a lot more both of us being the present and holding the household down, as opposed to, let's say, someone back in the years ago.
Right. So I want to say that, first of all, this question is probably one of the hardest questions you can ask, because the truth is the only reason why I feel like the answer is changed is because of women. They've been better than they've ever been. Like before, it's easy to tell a woman stay at home when all you can do is stay home.
That's true.
They used to tell you guys you can't even vote because we don't believe that you have the brain to vote, and they used to tell you that you can't you stay in the house because you can't actually provide anything when everything was labor. So now the truth is, like, even though I've been raised, you know, especially as Jamaican, like understanding and expecting to be the provider and do that, I do understand that you guys have more than you ever have. You guys have more opportunity than you ever had. And if you want to seek that opportunity, maybe I need to take care of the kids more. maybe I need to.
Are you saying that that's something that you'd be okay with? Let's say,
cause
you're married to a lawyer. Would you be a stay-at-home dad because she can be able to provide what she needs in the household?
First of all, stay-at-home dad is like, home all the time is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Home all the time is crazy. But at the same time, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope women realize this question exists because you guys are better. I mean, it's not because of we're worse. We probably got worse, but we may be worse because we got to deal with you guys getting better. Some guys. So even if you think we're trash now, we've always been trash. You could just see it because you're here now. But I'm saying is that those women that do, like you said, that are a lawyer or businesswoman, they have a reputation, almost just like having a kid is neglecting their man because of that. But I just want to let you know I prepare for that. That's half of the reason I make the money I make or have the schedule I have is because I understand that could be a possibility, but let's work on it together. I still want to see that together. I want to see a dynamic together. Like, I'm going to support you, but don't leave me at home looking like, yo, I just gave up every possibility I have for some woman I'll never see. Like, because I wouldn't do that to you. And that's the only reason why I want to do that. I don't care what I'm doing, because guess what? You could give me a better potential than any job could give me. Because I'm not going to lie, like, my dad did pass away on a Sunday. On Monday, they came to pick up the company car. So I think about that every day. So whatever you're working for, that could happen to you. But guess who lives through him? Me and my brother. So that's how I feel about you. So as long as that dynamic is worked on and is there, we're good. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We heard a lot. But it is time to pop.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pop one balloon. I know this is a tough part.
This is a sign, too, because me and my brother used to play Ninja Turtles every day, and I was Leonardo he wore blue. But this makes sense because I was Michelangelo. You know what Michelangelo wore?
What he wear?
Orange.
Oh. Okay. We'll be right back. We'll be right back, sis. All right. So why did you have your balloon unpopped?
I like what he was saying. I mean, he's really seems like a really good guy, well-spoken, very handsome, like got a lot going for himself. So, you know, that's my type.
And then, so obviously we heard, you said you picked her because of the color, but is she someone that's your type?
Yeah, she's beautiful. I loved everything you said. Honestly, quality time is so both you guys, I love the fact that you appreciated that, because quality time is my favorite, because like I've had pesos, I've had dollars, I've had pounds, but the one currency you can't ever get back is time. And that's why I know that when somebody gives that to me, I got to show you why it's worth it. And the fact that you guys were talking about present, that was amazing to me. I loved it. And the fact that I felt like you guys could show up was why you were the last two. But you're definitely my type. You look very nice. The melanin is amazing.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, I just...
Sounds good. Well, let me have you step on back over there. Come on up here with us, Brittany. Come on up. I'll have you stand here. Yes. All right. Any final question between the two of you before we determine if we got a match?
Yes.
Just one, guys. One.
Okay.
Yes.
Felonies, do you have any? I have to check.
Nah, I don't have any felonies.
Okay.
Okay. Are you good?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
What do you do for a living, and where do you live?
Where do I live?
Yeah.
Or what do I do and where do I live?
Yeah.
I live here, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. And I am an office coordinator. Right now, I am currently of a school, and currently I'm in school to become a sign language interpreter. So once I'm finished with that, then that will be my career.
Okay, great. Do you plan on like establishing and creating a family in Phoenix? Like, how does that look? What do you plan on your plans?
I do like the weather out here, but no, I think if anything, I would probably buy property here, and then I would like to live somewhere that has a little bit more of a season change.
Okay.
Not very much. I don't like snow, but other than that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I told y'all have one up here. Okay. So my final question, is it a yes for you for him?
I'd say it's a yes. I like your answers and what you had to say. I'm interested to get to know you more.
Okay. And is it a yes for you for her?
Can I tell her where I live to see? I gotta see if she changed her mind.
Go ahead.
Does that matter? If it doesn't matter,
What
it
did you
doesn't
say?
matter.
If where he lives will change your mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live in New York.
A little far, but no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I've been to New York, so that's not. It depends on if we have a real connection. Then maybe I'll come out and see you, or maybe you can come back out here.
Okay. Let me ask you again then. Is it a yes for you for her?
Yes. Yeah, I did say I would only come to Phoenix if Charles Barkley came back to the Suns, but I would definitely do it for you.
Okay, thank you. That's a yes?
Yes, that's a yes.
We got a match. I'll take the mic. All right, get your girl. You guys can go on up. Yeah, go ahead. Make some noise for them, ladies.
Definitely, son. I hate fabrics, man. Fabric gonna be pissing me the fuck off. Great.